Hi everybody, it's Katie. Welcome to episode 2 of Underwater Paradise. Our Little Mermaid journey is going to continue today as we start to look at custom patterns and where they're going to fit on the island. The very first place that I'm going to start with today is the castle and show you the path that I'm going to be using here. I spent so many hours going through custom patterns. I looked on Pinterest and I went directly into the app itself, and as I scroll through here you can see I have pretty well finished and filled everything. In fact, I think I only have a couple spaces left that are extra, but we're going to start today. I'm going to show you the path that I'm going to be using here for the castle. I've put down just a little base here so I could see how it looked in the island itself, but this is a path. It's just a 9-piece pattern. I believe the original pattern even has diagonals, but I don't need that. The inside of the castle is going to be very straight and very straightforward. My goal for this was to have a path that did a really good job of coordinating with the walls but not matching the walls. I wanted the difference between the two to have really good contrast. I didn't want to look at it all and have it be one color. I wanted to see the ground and the walls. I think it'll look nice and regal for the castle. The second pattern is this really pretty little brick path. This is a designer that I have used custom patterns from before. She does a really good job of creating a lot of intricacy and detail with very few patterns needed. There are a couple variations with leaves on one end or not, but the pattern itself is actually only 5 spots, and with the variations, it's still just 9. It can be a little bit tricky to put down. It takes a little bit of practice, but I've done it before, so I'm excited to go ahead and utilize this particular pattern over here for the farming peasant village. I think these deep, warm brown tones are going to work really well over here in the area. The third pattern is this beautiful coral pattern. This is actually a pattern from a designer I haven't done images from before, but I found a picture of it on Pinterest and it was part of what gave me the inspiration for the island theme. Knowing that there was going to be a really beautiful pattern for underwater was part of what gave me the confidence to go ahead with the plan. You can see it has quite a few really beautiful, vibrant, and unique pieces, but this actually isn't going to be the path itself. This is going to be the coral rocks and decorations that go where the path isn't. It's a negative path pattern. There's probably going to be a variety of ways that I create a path over here in the underwater world, but I like the way that this one is going to add some of those beautiful colors and go underneath the rocks and decorations. In addition to the coral pattern, you can see here I have all of these really pretty seaweed, bubbles, shells, rocks, and creatures that are also going to go underwater. I even added a few fish patterns, even though most of the fish will be models. The fourth and last path pattern of the day is this really beautiful one. I had no idea I was going to be able to find a pattern that would work for the deep ocean area. This one is actually called the Black Pond pattern. I was really excited to find it because I love the way that those really vibrant black, purple, blue tones have such detail and intricacy, and it just fits exactly what I am thinking of for this area. I've added in a couple other patterns such as planks and bones and kind of a darker weed, and I think it's going to come together really well. Just like the coral path pattern, this one is going to be a negative pattern, so it will go under items and fill in the gaps everywhere that the path isn't going to be. Alright, I have a lot of work to do to start getting some of these paths put down, so I'm going to get right on to that, and then I'll touch base before we start decorating for the day. I finished putting the path down, at least here in the village area, and I really just think this is perfect. I'm really happy with the way that it works, and I went ahead and transitioned a couple of these entryways into the castle, but I haven't finished the castle path yet. I had planned on putting all the different paths down today, at least enough that I could figure out what the organization was going to be for all of the islands, but now that I have this brick path down here for the village, well, I changed my mind. I really am in the mood now to get this down, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop and put this little farming village into place. I've talked a little bit already about what my plan is for this little village. I want it to be kind and cute and very pleasant, and it's gonna be a little bit of a farming community. However, I don't have a ton of space for everything to go in, so I really do plan on condensing this entire concept into a very small space. Most of the island is going to be the underwater world, and I just think it would be really fun to have this village part completed. I don't know, just sometimes when you get in the mood for something, it works better. To be honest, that's probably my best creativity tip, is to work on whatever it is you're in the mood for. You're always going to do a better job of creating when you're in the mood to create a particular area. If you do find that you need to work on something and you're not excited or in the mood for it, you can go watch other people who are doing that type of item or find pictures or videos. I find that really helps me too, is to look at other people's purpose and inspiration. In fact, I frequently find myself in the mood for whichever YouTube video I've watched most recently. So for example, if I watch a Sims 4 building video, then all of a sudden I want to get on and play Sims 4. If I watch a Hermitcraft Minecraft video, then I want to get on and play Minecraft. It's such a silly thing, but I've learned that that works really well. If I need to make progress on my Animal Crossing island, I get on and watch my favorite Animal Crossing streamers or content creators. I'd be really curious if it works that way for you guys. Maybe I am just really easily influenced by other people. Perhaps I'm strange. Or maybe it works for you guys. Okay, now you guys have to tell me because I'm super curious. Anyhow, back to the build. As you can see here, I really am doing a lot of very quaint little kind of cottagecore style decorations here all around the entrance to the castle. I put down a little bit of the potato, tomato, carrots, and pumpkins. I decided not to do the sugar cane because it just didn't feel like it fit the theme, and I didn't want to do wheat because I have the wheat fields that are scattered throughout the whole area. I also put a little bit of a shed here in the middle and tried to put a lot of decorations so that the area felt very full, and I realized I needed some trees, so they haven't grown up yet. I don't have any fully grown trees on the island yet, but I've planted a few. At this point in the speed build, you can see the general areas are all organized. I'm just decorating the little spaces and trying to fill in the gaps. I'm not worrying too much about whether something makes sense, mostly just that it looks good. Cute. I'm just going for cute and quaint and villagey, and that's it. I do have some space to take care of and decorate up here on some of the cliffs behind. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them, but I do want to go ahead and get the trees planted for this area because those of course take time, and I'm going to be time traveling through to make them grow anyhow. I am going to take some time when I'm not recording, and I'll go up to that area and put down a blank pattern, one of the custom patterns with nothing on it, so that nothing grows or changes up there unless I want it to. This is a really normal step for me on my islands. I literally make sure every single path, every single spot, every space is completely taken care of. Not everything in the area makes perfect sense. As you can see, I'm putting down those green street lamps, and they probably didn't have electricity during the time in which I am putting this particular island together. That being said, we can pretend like they are candle-lit street lamps, and I really like the way that the height makes things come together. In other words, I like the way it looks. So I don't care if it perfectly fits or not. That's just the way that decorating goes. I took the time to water all the crops and flowers and time travel forward, and I realized that I had skipped this little bit of beach down here where Shep's house is. I could probably wait and do it later, but I'm just feeling like it needs to be done now, and my plan for Shep's area is just to put the same type of path and system in place and make it a very fishing-focused beach. There's not a lot of room down here, and there is definitely a lot of fishing theme in the Little Mermaid movies and stories, so I thought it would be appropriate, and I just decided, why not go ahead and do it now. You can see here as I go ahead and put down this path that, as you saw the path before, it was like a 1,200% timing. The process for putting the path down and figuring out where it goes is actually really slow. I may not do all of this with you guys on camera right now, but you can see as I'm thinking and putting things in place, the process can be quite detailed and very precise. I don't mind it. Most of the time when I'm building and even when I am filming speed builds, I will put on a YouTube video or my favorite streamers and I'll just sit and chill. Very rarely do I do this kind of work all just by itself, and maybe that's because I live in this world where I really just need more input, but I find that it's fun to play Animal Crossing to other things. At this point, I think I'll put you guys out of your misery and just speed this up for you guys a little bit. I found a way to work the shed into the area, but I think I'm going to pull this fishing rod up here and put the workbench down. It's really important to me to have some of the things that I use easily accessible so that I can keep building. It's so annoying to have to go back to either town hall or back to your home, so it's nice to spread some of these things out. I know that not everything I'm using in this particular island fits the theme, and if you think about this beach in particular, there are a lot of items that don't quite work. So for instance, I think I've decided to put down these barrels. This is actually like the little turnip barrels. I'm not even quite sure what they are, and I just think they look nice, so I'm gonna drop them down. The fish drying racks are a great fit. They're exactly what I'm looking for in the area. And I've decided to add a couple extra little items here. So this is the osechi. I don't even know what culture this comes from for sure, but it has a crab in it and I'm trying to put together a fishing theme. So it's just gonna work. It's just gonna be fine. I'm also gonna put down, this is a cutting board, but I really wanted to have some more fish down here, so I put it on top of one of the barrels. Again, sometimes you have to just think outside of the box a little bit on the items that you're using in any given area. The yacht, really out of context, but I wanted a boat. It helps with the fishing type of concept. It's fine, even though it has a tarp on it and plastic wouldn't have existed back when I'm doing this particular time period. It's fine, just ignore the things that don't really perfectly fit. Remember that it's a video game. I'm gonna keep on working on this area, including just some little details here and there. I'm gonna plant a couple palm trees and then we'll pop back in and I'll give you guys a tour of the areas I completed today. All right, I think it's time for us to go and take a look at the final area that I've put together today. You can see there's just a little bit of this path that goes in front of the castle. I've added in some flowers and I really like the way that the area comes together with the fountain in the middle of the path. It just seems more realistic somehow. Up from that, you can see some of the garden patches that are put in, the potatoes and tomatoes, just a barrel and fence there up on the cliff so that it's not empty. Over here we have the windmill, and if you tilt up you can see the trees and barrels and stuff up there too. And the pumpkins in the patch below me I think look really clever. Down from that you can see the store. Here I have that shed so I can get to things easily, the workbench that's easy to get to, and down onto a little bit of the fishing area. I really like the way this part came together. I think it looks like a fishing area, even though some of the items are a little bit unique. I'm feeling really great about the progress I made in today's episode, and I can't wait to bring you guys further along this journey putting together the underwater paradise for my Little Mermaid themed island. For those of you who don't know, I have just recently started streaming over on Twitch, so if you'd like to pop in and help me put some HHP builds together and chat and get to know each other a little bit better, we'd love to see you there. Twitch is free and there's a link for that in the description below. I hope you guys found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.
Bye.